Activision claims Call of Duty's seen a 43% drop in disruptive voice chat since the start of the year thanks to its robo-snitch. The AI software in question is ToxMod, which Activision announced it'd be including in Call of Duty August of last year. This software essentially acts as a goody-two-shoes narc that's always watching your games. It's not responsible for banning anybody, but it will listen to and report your flaming for moderation. First of all, what is the end of this article? This is goofy. And this guy right here, Harvey Randall, I really hope I don't have to read another one of your articles, bro. Hello fellow travelers and welcome to the Hard Light Network. So today we're talking about AI, specifically how Activision has implemented a new bot to moderate voice chat in its multiplayer lobbies. As we will read in this article entitled, AI in Games Might Have Just Proven Itself Useful for a Change. Activision claims Call of Duty's seen a 43% drop in disruptive voice chat since the start of the year thanks to its robo-snitch. Good lord, just imagine if I titled my videos like that. For better or worse, I think it's only a matter of time before we start seeing more companies implement features like this, and it seems like Activision is just leading the way. I think the major question is, though, how will this affect gamer culture and the atmosphere of these online lobbies? On the surface, it might seem like a good thing that it's targeting, quote, disruptive voice chat, but I suppose it remains to be seen whether or not the execution actually improves the experience of the game. But before we get into it, guys, if you want to support this channel, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you want to go that extra step, there is a super thanks option. But that's enough of the delays, let's get into this article. AI in games is a weird subject. Glassy-eyed, soulless Neo-NPCs, hideous AI art slapped onto social media accounts, and thanks to the seemingly irresistible gravitational allure of its power as a buzzword to sell software and tat, a lot of confusion as to what AI-powered actually means. I'm on record as a skeptic myself. While I think AI, that is specifically generative AI, doesn't really have much to offer games in terms of writing or art, I must admit with a mouthful of humble pie that Activision, of all the studios, might have stumbled onto a good use for it with the help of Modulate. I say might have because it's my job to be skeptical, and because these are all numbers from Activision itself, which has a clear and vested interest in wanting you to believe that it makes good decisions. Still, as per its Toxicity Report blog post, the numbers are allegedly looking pretty good. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm already not liking what I'm hearing. Personally, most of my interactions with bots are me just yelling at them that I want a representative. And while a little later on the article is careful to state that the AI isn't in charge of moderation, I just don't completely buy that. My other major issue here is just how vague of a phrase disruptive voice chat actually is. At first you might be tempted to think that it's referring to slurs or autistic screeching into the mic. But I would caution you against simply inserting your own personal interpretation of what the word disruptive means. I'm not the one making the rules, and neither is the average Call of Duty player. This will ultimately fall to the mod team to determine whether or not your speech is, quote, disruptive. The AI software in question is ToxMod, which Activision announced it'd be including in Call of Duty August of last year. This software essentially acts as a goody-two-shoes narc that's always watching your games. It's not responsible for banning anybody, but it will listen to and report your flaming for moderation. Hopefully, by a team of people able to make up for the fact that AI has a habit of imagining things. What's more, and this is a big claim which I again entreat you to handle with skepticism, ToxMod is able to listen to the tone of voice, allowing it to separate banter and genuine hate. It has a severity rating system too. For example, certain slurs have been reclaimed by their communities, so when it detects one, it claims to keep an eye on the immediate reactions of other people present. For example, if someone says the N-word and clearly offends others in the chat, that will be rated much more severely than what appears to be reclaimed usage that is incorporated naturally into a conversation.
Man, forget that dude. You need to
listen,
nigga.
You get your money next week,
Nigga.
so quit acting like a bitch ass.
Nigga. Nigga.
That's so freaking crazy to me. The AI is out here passing out N-word cards. They got the bot with the hard R detector. Instead of like flying cars and a cure for cancer, we have automod snitches reporting slurs in COD lobbies. What a time to be alive, for real. Anyway, all jokes aside, I think the obvious criticism here is that there's no possible way that this won't lead to over-moderation. If the AI itself isn't doing any moderating, then how is this supposed to decrease the workload on the mod team? If anything, it seems like it'll create more work for them to do. When the guy says hopefully that a team of people will be checking this AI, the word hopefully is doing all the heavy lifting there. And then there's this claim that the AI is able to make the call and differentiate between banter and quote-unquote genuine hate, which is just laughably absurd because even human beings cannot differentiate between the two sometimes. It's almost as funny as the AI judging the difference between a soft A and a hard R. On a deeper, more philosophical level, the AI cannot make value judgments, so there's no way that it can determine whether or not something is good or bad. You see, unlike the AI, language is actually living, and connotations are always in a state of flux. Today's skibbity is tomorrow's N-word, so to speak, and some of us are actually old enough to remember the state of COD lobbies back in 2007. And since there's no way in hell that you're about to convince me an AI is about to have anything approaching a real human conversation in the near future, there's only two solutions to this problem that I can see. On the one hand, this AI will act like a digital version of Randall from Recess, taking notes on what you're saying and kicking these tickets back to a human mod team for double checking. Or, and this is what I think is much more likely to happen, is that the mod team will create a list of no-no words that the AI is searching for. Then the AI itself will take away people's voice chat perms or even possibly temporarily ban them until an appeal is made, which will actually go to a human moderator. Either way, without some sort of auto-mod features implemented, I have no idea how this is supposed to lessen the load on the human moderators. Anyway, back to the article. Quote, "There's some other common sense stuff too. For example, if there's a young sounding person in the chat, offenses will be rated higher. Us grown adults can probably handle some bad words, but I think we can all agree that teaching little Timmy how to insult my sexuality with his whole chest probably isn't great for our society on the whole." And God, I just, with the millennial writing, dude, say whole chest, oh my God. There's privacy concerns, sure. Though, while I'm not saying the situation's great, we're sort of beyond the pale at this point. Adverts are tailored to your search history, and your data on any social media platform is cut up and sold to the highest bidder. And if you have a smartphone, chances are your exact location going back months is available. All this to say, I think an AI-based reporting system is probably the least of our worries. If Activision's numbers are taken on good faith, it's a solid trade-off. Call of Duty is one of the most infamously toxic games when it comes to voice chat. Whether that's numerically true is another thing, but I'm of the opinion that a game generally gets a rep for such a good reason. Easing up on the pressure of besieged mod teams and taking responsibility for reportage out of players' hands so they can focus on, playing a game instead of navigating report menus, that sounds like a net good, and my hat is reluctantly tipped. First of all, what is the end of this article? This is goofy. And this guy right here, Harvey Randall, I really hope I don't have to read another one of your articles, bro. Anyway, just to respond to his closing points, I think this idea of penalizing someone more harshly if there's a quote, young sounding person in the chat is kind of ridiculous. Like so many of his points, they sound reasonable on the surface, but what if this young sounding person is exactly that? A young sounding person? What if their voice is just of a naturally higher pitch, or they're using a voice changer? Harvey is out here making the most duty poo-poo caca pee-pee points I've ever heard in my life. And dude is genuinely too busy soying out over AI bots tone policing COD lobbies to realize just how stupid his points are. Just on this young person point, whose responsibility is it really to make sure kids aren't consuming content that's inappropriate for them? We already have the ESRB rating system in place specifically for that, and Call of Duty is ranked M17. I know it's not a perfect system, but children aren't legally allowed to even purchase these games. It's alright if little Timmy is mowing down civilians in no Russian, but hearing bad words in the COD lobby? That's too far. What's crazy is this guy wrote my sexuality, and I just imagine him getting absolutely mogged by like a 12-year-old in the lobby. Apart from kids playing M-rated games when they're not supposed to be, what if someone just has an accent where something they say sounds offensive at first but isn't? Hopefully a human being would hear that and just clear the ticket, but remember, the big fat bold underlined quotation mark emphasis on that is hopefully. Because like I said earlier, if the goal is to actually reduce the amount of man hours that is spent moderating messages, just like he says in his article, then I don't think that they're going to be doing the most diligent work when it comes to double checking these flags. Also, I love how there's this entire paragraph of him just hand waving away the privacy concerns. He points out all the different ways that companies are taking your private data to sell for extra profit, and he says, well, what's one more? He says this is the least of our problems, as if the existence of other issues somehow diminishes this one. It's like, but yeah, bro, I know you were just in a car crash, but that's the least of your problems. You're still 2 months behind on rent. It's almost like this entire article is an argument in fence sitting, and he doesn't have a real opinion. He says he's skeptical of AI and then spends the last half of the article outright defending it. The final point I want to make in this video is that I remember old Call of Duty lobbies, and in my opinion at least, multiplayer was arguably better back then. Was it more toxic? Sure, and I was on the receiving end of a lot of that, but it genuinely doesn't change my opinion on the game. Maybe it's a bit of a boomer take, but listening to trolls absolutely destroy you on a Call of Duty lobby was probably one of the safer ways to build a thicker skin. As things are going now, when it comes to online games, I'd say that people are softer and more prone to being offended than ever. And in my honest opinion, I think that this obsessive need to moderate every syllable that comes out of someone's mouth online is probably part of the problem. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video, guys. What do you think about Activision's new AI snitch program? Do you think this is ultimately going to improve the gaming experience or take away from it? Either way, be sure to let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to support this channel, please hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. And until next time, love you guys. Safe travels.